Good day, Davao, Mindanao. Welcome to Pambansang Dialogo. Pambansang Dialogo is a tool for conflict resolution in television. It is a talk show about resolving all types of conflicts found at the different levels of the Philippine society through a process of free conversation and dialogue. Conflicts between persons, within the family, between families and clans, small and big communities, ethno-religious conflicts, between different socio-economic classes of people and groups of people at the opposite side of the political and ideological divide. Most conflicts are non-armed and non-violent. However, some are and are even protracted from a handful of years to decades, but others occur sporadically and in shorter periods. Pambansang Dialogo is featuring a different type of conversation and dialogue called democratic dialogue in a way that it seeks to promote democracy in the Philippines, not only in form but more importantly in the quality of democracy. For today's episode, we'll talk about the internal peace and security plan of the government of the Philippines under the Pinoy administration, and our guest is no less than the commander of the Civil Military Operations Battalion of the 10th Infantry Division, Philippine Army, Eastern Mindanao Command, Major Jake Obligado. Good evening, Jake.
Good evening, sir, and good evening ho sa lahat ng mga nakikinig.
So, Jake, as I've made mention to my introduction, ang pag-uusapan natin dito, yung IPSP Bayanihan. No?
Yes,
it is the national framework for internal peace and security plan of the government. By the way, bigyan natin ng konting historical background ang ating mga televiewers kung ano itong IPSP Bayanihan.
Ang Internal Peace and Security Plan Bayanihan is, first and foremost, it's not the plan of the AFP alone. The plan was conceptualized by multiple stakeholders. In the AFP have consulted the civil society organizations, the media sector, the religious sector, the government entities themselves, because we believe that in resolving this conflict, the 4 decades old of conflict that we have here in the Philippines right now, we found out that we cannot solve this in a military solution way alone. So we need to converge all efforts of not only of the government instrumentalities, but also we have to seek assistance and converge also and let other organizations, particularly the civil society organizations, participate in resolving this conflict.
So, before you proceed, Major Obligado, are you saying, do you mean to say that ito yung contribution ng Armed Forces of the Philippines sa national effort, no, for internal security? And parang sinasabi mo na this time around, it is not solely a military action.
Yes.
In fact, sa planning stage pa lang, you're telling us that kasama na ang stakeholders dito. No?
Exactly, Sir Ed. The strategy of it's not only the AFP actually, because we have sought participation of all the stakeholders. So when everyone participates, therefore they have the ownership of this program. And the strategy then was when we resolve conflict, particularly in the insurgency conflict here in the Philippines, we have focused our strategy in, ang term namin dito is enemy-centered siya. Pinag-aaralan namin yung kalaban ng gobyerno, pinag-aaralan natin kung sino yung against sa gobyerno. But in IPSP Bayanihan, we have 2 strategic approaches. The 2 strategic approaches are the people-centered approach and the whole-of-nation approach. When you say the people-centered approach, we've realized also that the problem does not come from, of course, we've realized that the problem is not caused by the military. But the thing is, we are always or have been giving solutions for this insurgency problem Nagli-lead role dati rito yung military. We've come to realize that this problem was a problem of a multi-dimensional problem that needs multi-dimensional solution. Meaning, dapat sama-sama ang lahat ng stakeholders. Yes.
Now, in a core analysis, anong kaibahan nito sa previous internal peace and security plan of the government? As you have said, this is a multi-stakeholder approach.
Yes.
So, anong kaibahan and what made the government decide to change its overall strategy?
The glaring difference is we've shifted paradigm from enemy-centered approach to people-centered approach and the whole of nation approach. Meaning, lagi parati kasi natin solution nun is not only the military but also the whole of government approach.
So when you say enemy-centered, dati you're focusing on, since you are, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed, ang pinag-uusapan natin ditong conflict under the Pambansang Dialogo Program is the armed conflict between the government and the Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, National Democratic Front. So the armed forces is ini-implement nila yung IPSP. So when you say enemy-centered before, you're referring to nakafocus kayo before sa New People's Army. And yun now,
yes.
sinasabi niya is people-centered. Hindi kayo nakafocus sa NPA, but instead nakafocus kayo sa community.
Exactly. The traditional parameter then was how many body counts. May mga body count syndrome tayo. Ilang firearms ang na-recover natin. And at the same time, how many barangays have been cleared. In people-centered approach is hindi na natin masyadong finocus yung kalaban ng gobyerno. Of course, we still have to study them because they have arms, I mean. So, that is still illegal. In people-centered approach, dapat malaman natin kung ano talaga yung pangangailangan ng mga tao, ng masa. And that is, we've also realized that there are four main categories pinag-aralan natin yung mga categories ng mga problema kasi number one is the basic services. Kulang ng eskwelahan, kulang ng delivery of yung farm to market road, mataas ang cost of production ng mga farmers. Tapos meron tayong yung trending kasi is maraming 87% or 86% from all of our former rebels who surrendered to us is are
Farmers.
They belong to the youth sector.
Kabataan.
So, and with yung people-centered approach is basically delivery of basic services. But we do not deliver the basic services. But since we are there in the mountains, the soldiers na nandun sa kabundukan, we facilitate the delivery of basic services.
So, parang bridging.
Bridging, exactly.
Bridging yung trabaho niya.
Facilitators lang kami. Kasi we are just one of the instruments in solving this problem. Dati,
But still, you have to confront the armed NPA.
Exactly.
So, how do you do that? I could imagine you are in the barangays, in the Poroks.
Yes.
Andun yung inyong mga sundalo, nakikipag-usap sa mga barangay officials, sa mga church leaders doon. But you are also armed and in uniform, and you are subject to the target of the New People's Army.
that is basic to our responsibilities.
Yeah.
Kasi yan din yung expertise namin. We are trained for combat. And supposed to be, ang focus lang namin is yung armed group ng kalaban ng gobyerno, yung New People's Army nga. But if you dig deeper, the reason why they raise arms against the government is not because of the military, it's because of social issues. So therefore, in solving these social issues, it is only right that you have to also gather participation from those who have responsibilities to deliver the solution to these social issues.
Yeah. Now, you see, based on your previous statement, you are facilitating government services for the community or bridging. isn't it the role of the local government unit or the civilian government to perform such tasks as mandated to them by local government code and as mandated to them by the people who elected them? So, wala bang conflict of authority dito o turf dito that you are there in the military, the mayors are there, and the barangay captains, and exactly that's a big challenge. How do you harmonize all these things?
Instead of conflict, I think this is a very big opportunity. Yes,
Okay.
it is a very big opportunity for us to collaborate. Yung shift of paradigm pa nga namin is from conflict management to cooperation management. You see, there are a lot of, when we found out in the field that there are a lot of basic needs of the people that are also the same programs of different agencies. They have, so many agencies have the same programs. So the challenge here is to converge, to synchronize, to harmonize all efforts.
So you mean, okay, going back to the word harmonize all efforts, as you said, I think it is consistent with the all-of-nation approach.
Exactly, sir.
So when you say all-of-nation approach at the macro level, at the national level, lahat ng katauhan sa Pilipinas ay encouraged to help in this effort. So down the line, up to the barangay level, ganun yung inyong approach.
Exactly. That is precisely the reason why that this plan was called Bayanihan.
Then how did the local chief executives responded, no, to this new effort? Di ba, nanibago siguro sila,
Yes.
especially the barangay officials when they're asked to for a conversation with you. Parang hindi sila sanay makipag-usap sa sundalo, no? Ang mga residents hindi sila sanay makipag-usap sa sundalo. So paano sila nag-respond in the real sense after 2 years of implementation?
Internally, we've started with our soldiers, of course.
What do you mean? You started soldiers? Retraining?
Exactly. The retraining, advocacy from within. Because the traditional job, the duties and responsibilities of soldiers is really for combat. We are trained for combat.
So you have to sell the idea
Exactly.
to your
From
soldiers.
within.
From within.
From within, we have to advocate from within. Part of the advocacy is, of course, sharing the vision, sharing the mission, and sharing the concepts. Parts of the concept is, number one, we've always been saying that the best civil-military operations or the best way to market the soldiers is through a disciplined soldier. From the discipline of a soldier, part of it is, of course, to introduce to him the new concept of collaboration, coordination, and linkaging with other sectors of society. Not only within the government, but we have to include the other sectors of society.
Okay. Including all other sectors of society. Let us focus now on a sector of society, the Philippine National Police. Anong nagiging role nila ng PNP sa IPSP Bayanihan?
Law enforcement is basically their function. Part of the law enforcement is, when it comes to law enforcement, we are in support to the Philippine National Police. When it comes to solving criminalities, investigation, if we are...
When it comes to the IPSP Bayanihan, anong role nila?
Sa law enforcement.
Sa
Law enforcement
services
pa rin,
din?
yes, services ng law enforcement, and at the same time, since both the PNP and the AFP is in the field, no? When we say in the field, sa aming mga Philippine Army in particular, nandun kami sa mga detachments namin, kami yung nakakasalamuha ng mga tao na malalayo sa munisipyo. Kami yung nakakasalamuha ng mga lumads, nakakasalamuha ng mga masa, mga farmers particularly, who are out there. Maglalakad sila siguro mga 7 to 10 kilometers papunta sa poblasyon ng barangay.
So, overall, what is the initial assessment sa community level, acceptance assessment niyo?
Very glaring, no? Very glaring aming the milestone of the accomplishments of the IPSP Bayanihan. You know why? Part of the program is to visit all barangays. For us to visit all barangays, assess the needs. Meron kaming rapid needs appraisal in collaboration with the other government instrumentalities. For example, when we conduct survey, we use the survey form given to us by the National Economic Development Authority. So, from that survey form alone, kasi kami yung may opportunity kami na nakakaabot sa pinakamalayong lugar eh. So, from that survey form alone, we found out that what the basic needs or the lack of services that that particular sitio or barangay needs for us to collaborate with the other government instrumentalities and sectors of society.
Now, Major Obligado, it appears to be clear now that what is the strategy all about and how you do it and the response of the people. But still, sectors of society is against it. No? So, after this quick break, pag-usapan natin yun. Bakit yung iba galit pa rin sa IPSP Bayanihan? So, after this break, Major.
Yes.
Balik kita mga igala sa Pambansang Dialogo. Ganina atong naisgutan ang Internal Peace and Security Plan at na-explain sa atong guest, Major Jake Obligado of the 10th Division Civil Military Operations Battalion Commander. No? Sa ngayon, karon, let us ask our guest kung bakit, no, in spite of the beautiful explanation by our guest about the IPSP Bayanihan, meron pa rin mga sektor na galit at laging nagrereklamo at gustong ipahinto ang Bayanihan Internal Peace and Security Plan. So, as a soldier, as a civil military officer, anong take mo dito? Why is it that people from the communities hanggat sa Kongreso merong nagrereklamo tungkol dito?
Ang number one reason dyan is because they are realizing already that they are losing their mass bases. Parang ano yan eh, parang kusina eh. Pagka ang isang tao, tinanggalan mo ng kusina, wala na siyang makakainan, wala na siyang pagkukuhanan ng pagkain, wala na paglulutuan ng pagkain. So, their number one resource base actually are the mass bases. So once you get the mass bases, once you win the hearts of the people, win the hearts and minds of the people, then definitely
the fish will naturally die.
Yes, of course. Not only die, but they will not really exist. They will no longer be relevant. Kasi the reason why we exactly have involved others, all the sectors of society for that matter, is for us to answer the issues raised by these, they call themselves progressive groups.
So, you mean to say, by inference, you're saying that yung nagrereklamo are the progressive groups?
Actually, I don't, in my...
I heard you saying hindi to progressive.
In my own opinion, they are no longer progressive groups, but they are problematic groups. Kasi para sa akin,
galit na galit sila dyan. Statement mo na yan.
They are presenting problems, but they are not solving it. So, these groups, these militant groups for that matter, are just good in presenting problems. They are just good in exploiting the conditions of the masses. In-exploit nila, dinidistort nila yung issues. They are good, actually, in my own opinion. They are very much...
Siguro you're referring to people or organized groups dito sa communities. But sa Kongreso, nandun rin. May nagreklamo rin.
Exactly.
May nagpapasa ng mga resolution.
Ang tanong natin nga dyan, saan ba galing yung mga nagrereklamo sa Kongreso tungkol dito? What are their backgrounds?
Party list. Karamihan, party list.
Exactly. Para sa akin, Sir Ed,
so, can we say now that yung reklamo, yung complaint, is actually part of the conflict?
exactly.
iba ang paningin, iba ang ideology, iba ang framework ng Philippine government, iba ang framework nung the other side, or we call it progressive or problematic group, as you said, iba. Kaya, conflict agad.
Ang lubos na naapektuhan dito is yung masa, no? Para sa atin nga, kaya the reason why we facilitate the delivery of basic services is because these are the issues that are being exploited by these problematic groups. For example, they exploit issues on lack of land, yung kulang sa yung agrarian revolution na pinaglalaban nila, ang lack of schools, lack of teachers, lack of health facilities, lack of farm to market roads.
But isn't it that yun ang role ninyo? To bridge
Exactly,
delivery
sir.
basic services?
That's
So bakit galit sila?
That is exactly the point, because these problematic groups, not progressive groups, really would want the masses, the mass base, to experience more poverty. Ang parati nating premise is poverty causes insurgency. That is a wrong premise. Because to me, insurgency is not poverty is not the reason for insurgency.
Well,
but
yeah.
insurgency worsens poverty.
Now,
Yes.
ganina, before we started, you mentioned about data and statistics
Yes.
to prove your point that it is not poverty that causes insurgency. As you said,
Yes.
it is instead insurgency that worsens poverty.
It worsens
Can you
poverty.
explain to our televiewers anong ibig mo sabihin by
Uh,
presenting the statistics, the data that you have?
We have taken we have surveyed about 881 former rebels who surrendered to the 10th Infantry Division since 2006 to 2011. Out of these data, we come to realize that 86% of these former rebels belong to the youth sector, from ages 15 to 30 years old.
Kabataan.
Kabataan talaga yun, Sir Ed. And part of the data also, we've found out that the average age of entry is 17 years old. 17 years old is the average age of entry. Average educational attainment is grade 3.
17. So agad-agad may violation doon.
Exactly. Minors. A violation of
so they
exploitation
tolerate
of minors.
recruitment of minors. You're saying?
That is
Based on statistics.
Based from the statistics.
Yeah.
And 74% of them are members of the LUMADs,
Indigenous people.
indigenous people. They stay in the organization for 2.5 years. They are 69% of them are farmers, and this is the glaring one that we want to point out. Only 5% of them reasoned out that they joined insurgency due
Because
to
of poverty.
Yes.
Ah.
They joined, 69% has revealed that they joined insurgency, they joined this rebel group, because they were deceived. Somebody convinced them.
Promised.
There are a lot of promises, such as financial assistance, justice for the injustices that they have experienced, and they would give them land. Yun yung agrarian reform na sinasabi nila. So, marami naman dyan
At
yung...
bakit naman, sabi mo, 2.5 years lumalabas na? Ano ang major reason?
Bago ko sagutin yan,
sige.
Sir Ed, marami namang mahihirap dyan sa kalye, di ba? Kahit sa panig ng mundo, even in the United States
Mayroong
of
mahirap.
America, there is poverty. But why is it that there are no insurgency? There is no rebellion? Because this issue on poverty is just being exploited. And of course, yung sinabi nga natin, no, 86% of them have mentioned that they left insurgency. They left this rebel group after 2.5 years due to hardship, difficulty, pagod,
Number one, difficulty.
puyat. Pagod, puyat, takot.
Fear.
Fear,
Yeah.
yes. Pagod, puyat, takot, at gutom.
Gutom. How about the promise?
Yan,
Naging rason ba din na-
isa sa mga rason yun, yung hindi natugunan yung promise, yung tinatawag nilang sustento para sa pamilya, hindi na raw nila natugunan yun. And at the same time, pero itanong natin, bakit sila naghihirap? Bakit sila nagugutom? Bakit sila napapagod? Bakit sila napupuyat? Because somebody is going out after them, running after them. And who are these organizations who are running after this armed group?
Yes, okay.
It is the police and the military.
Before you proceed on that line of discussion, Jake,
Yes.
parang nagpasok na sa mind ko to ask you this question. All of these things that you're telling us now refers to the New People's Army.
Yes, sir.
Pero, ang kalaban ninyo sa newspaper, sa media, hindi naman New People's Army yung tumitira sa inyo. These are legal groups that you said are problematic or use the traditional description sa kanila is the progressive groups. Hindi naman NPA soldier yung nagrereklamo sa inyo against the army, but these are legal organizations. Paano how do you explain that?
Sir, there is a mutual relationship between the New People's Army in the mountains. And there are some, for that matter, there are some allied organizations with the New People's Army. Let us ask them. Tanungin natin ang taong bayan, sino ang laging nag-aakusa sa military ng human rights violations na kung ang NPA ang nakakommit ng human rights violations, hindi naman nila kinokondena. Tanungin natin ang taong bayan. So, sino ba sa grupong nakikita ninyo ang affiliated sa New People's Army that they are always condemning the atrocities or blaming the military of issues while they are not blaming or conducting any investigation against the New People's Army when they commit violations?
You say commit human rights violation against whom? Against the soldiers?
Against the soldiers, they are always blaming